No do with this sacred place! Time to bring Darkbound to ending! Retreat to the light!
Princess Liora had lived inside the castle all her life, but she had never belonged there. At 17 years old, she worked as a servant in the royal kitchens of Ashenfall Castle. Every day, she carried water, cleaned the stone floors, and polished silver dishes while the king and queen dined in golden halls above her. Liora was small and thin, with long dark brown curly hair, warm brown skin, and bright green eyes. She always wore the same simple gray servant dress with a faded blue ribbon tied around her waist. The other servants often laughed at her. Dreaming again, they would say whenever they found her staring through the castle windows. Because Liora always dreamed of the lower halls. There were old stories whispered among the servants about hidden tunnels beneath the castle. They said that long ago, before Ashenfall was built, another kingdom had stood beneath the mountain. But no one believed those stories anymore. One rainy evening, the head cook sent Liora down into the oldest cellar beneath the castle to fetch a sack of flour. The cellar was dark and cold. The walls were covered in dust, and cobwebs hung from the ceiling. As Liora lifted the heavy sack, she heard something strange. A sound. It was soft at first. A faint tapping. Tap, tap, tap. She froze. The sound was coming from behind the wall. Slowly, she stepped closer. One of the old stones near the floor was cracked. Liora knelt down and brushed away the dust. Behind the stone, she found a small silver handle hidden in the wall. Her heart pounded. She pulled it. With a deep rumbling sound, part of the wall slid open. Behind it stood a narrow black door made of iron. A strange symbol was carved into the center of it, a silver moon above a crown. Liora stared at it. She had seen that symbol before. It was the same symbol on the necklace her mother had left her before she died. Hands shaking, Liora pulled the necklace from beneath her dress. The silver moon and crown were exactly the same. Suddenly, the iron door clicked. Then it slowly opened by itself. Cold air rushed out from the darkness beyond. Liora should have run away. Instead, she stepped inside. The hidden passage stretched deep beneath the castle. The stone walls glowed faintly blue, as if tiny stars had been trapped inside them. Liora followed the passage until she reached a spiral staircase that led downward. Far below, she could hear water dripping. At the bottom of the staircase, she entered a giant underground hall. Her breath caught in her throat. It was a city, an entire city buried beneath the castle. Tall stone towers rose from the darkness. Broken bridges crossed underground rivers. Ancient statues stood covered in vines and crystal. In the center of the city stood a great palace made of black stone. And above its gate was the same symbol, the moon and crown. As Liora stepped forward, she heard a voice. "You should not be here." She turned. A boy stood in the shadows. He looked about 19 years old, tall and lean, with pale skin, black hair, and silver gray eyes. He wore a dark cloak and carried a lantern in one hand. "Who are you?" Liora whispered. "My name is Kale," he said. "I guard this place." "You live here?" "I have always lived here." Liora stared at him. "That is impossible." Kale looked away. "Nothing beneath this castle is impossible." He told her the truth. Hundreds of years ago, there had been another kingdom beneath the mountain. Its people were known as the Moon Kingdom. They had ruled long before Ashenfall Castle was built. But one night, the king above betrayed them. The underground city was sealed away, and everyone inside vanished. "Except you?" Liora asked. Kale nodded. "My family has guarded the city ever since." Liora looked toward the black palace in the center. "Why does my necklace have the same symbol?" Kale's face changed. "You should leave. Tell me." Before he could answer, the ground began to shake. Dust fell from the ceiling. A loud cracking sound echoed through the underground city. Then a deep voice filled the darkness. "The door has been opened." The black palace doors slowly swung apart. A cold blue light spilled into the city. Kale grabbed Leora's hand. "We have to go." But Liora pulled away. "No." Something inside her was pulling her toward the palace. Step by step, she walked through the giant doors. Inside, the palace was silent. Silver candles burned without fire. Long black curtains hung from the ceiling. At the end of the hall stood a throne, and upon the throne sat a woman asleep. She looked no older than 25. She had long silver hair, pale skin, and wore a black crown covered in moonstones. As Liora approached, the woman's eyes opened. They were the same green as Liora's. "My daughter," the woman whispered. Liora stumbled backward. "No, you have finally come. I do not understand." The woman slowly stood. "You are not a servant girl." The room grew colder. "You are Princess Liora of the Moon Kingdom." Liora shook her head. "No, my mother died when I was little." The woman touched the necklace around Liora's neck. "I am your mother." Tears filled Liora's eyes. "That is impossible. When the kingdom was attacked, I hid you above the castle so you would survive. I used the last of my magic to place myself into an enchanted sleep." "Why?" "Because one day, you would return." The palace trembled again. Kale ran into the room. "The king knows she is here," he shouted. Far above them, bells began ringing through Ashenfall Castle. King Cedric had discovered the hidden door. The king was cruel and feared only one thing: the return of the Moon Kingdom. He had spent years searching for the hidden city so he could destroy it forever. Now he was coming. Liora looked at her mother. "What do I do?" The queen placed the black moonstone crown into Liora's hands. "You choose," she said softly. "Remain a servant, or become who you truly are." The sound of soldiers echoed through the tunnels. Kale drew his sword. Liora slowly placed the crown upon her head. At once, the city lit up. The crystals in the walls began to glow bright blue. The underground rivers shimmered like silver. The statues awoke. Ancient stone guardians rose from the darkness. The hidden city was alive again. When King Cedric and his soldiers entered the underground hall, they stopped in fear. Liora stood at the top of the palace steps beside her mother and Kale. She no longer looked like a servant girl. She wore a long dark blue gown, and the moonstone crown shone upon her silver-black hair. "You stole this kingdom," she said. King Cedric raised his sword. "It belongs to me." "No," Liora replied. "It never did." The stone guardians moved forward. The soldiers dropped their weapons and fled. King Cedric tried to escape, but the great doors of the city closed behind him. By sunrise, Ashenfall Castle belonged to the Moon Kingdom once more. The people above learned the truth. The hidden city beneath the mountain had never been destroyed. It had only been waiting. And at its center, the lost princess had finally come home.